Okay, so first, I cannot emphasize more if you're reading medieval India and going. If you're not doing Vijayanagara and going, you're going for a suicide. So medieval India, every year there is at least one. In the best of the years, there are two questions on Vijayanagara. And what should you study in Vijayanagara in specific? You have to study Devaraya one, everything under him, what happened, etc. His time period, his contemporaries. I cannot emphasize more on his contemporaries. Okay. Same goes with Devaraya too. Contemporaries with respect to North India, contemporaries with respect to, you know, this Bahmani Empire, etc. And then there's Devaraya too. Then there is Sri Krishna Devaraya. Then, art and architecture. But this is not an exhaustive list, okay? You should study everything. Vijayanagara, like literally everything with all the years, okay? Battle of Tallikota, if I'm not wrong, 1556, right? I think I may be wrong, but roughly. So you should know everything about Vijayanagara. Now, what are the sources? If you don't have notes, go to Lucent, cram every single fact if you don't have sources. Then go to RS Sharma, cram. Go to some XYZ website, read everything about what is available with respect to Vijayanagara. Next, the hot topic these days is Portuguese. Uh, Again, they come in 1498, if I'm not wrong. This is well before Babur, right? So even before Mughals, Portuguese come. So generally, you have all these three people. So this is also dealt in modern India, but you have this Francisco de Almeida, Nino de Cunha, then Alfonso de Albuquerque, everything. Okay, everything about them: blue water policy, Carta system, etc. So Portuguese are really important. So you should focus on Portuguese more because questions are coming from there. I'll show you all the questions I have also. Then books and poets, yes. So even if you don't know, what do you call, don't want to read a lot of medieval India, just go see to books and poets. See, I'm not saying from Vijayanagara you should ignore books. There are different books in Vijayanagara also. For example, Madhura Vijayam by Queen Ganga Devi, right? And yeah, how can I forget this? So, new NCRTs may you have art and architecture also of Vijayanagara. Okay, new NCRTs. You have to, like there were a lot of direct questions from new NCRTs. For example, Kalyana Mandapa's question was directly from new NCRTs. So do not new NCRTs of 12th class, if I'm not wrong. 12th class. See, ideally you should do 6 to 12, all the new NCRTs, dude. Like the questions are being asked from here. And again, see, RS Sharma gives you a nice order, chronology, everything for you to understand. But new NCRTs give you marks. So choose. Uh, and Books and poets, almost, you have to know a lot of books, Bharani, there'll be a lot of books. So, but since these days, Muslim poets and books are not being asked, you can choose to ignore, but it is at your own risk. I would still say do not ignore any book and any poet. For example, Tabaqat-e-Nasri by Minhas-us-Siraj. So, etc. All these books, you should know it. And Delhi Sultanate, all right. So, Delhi Sultanate, you have Khaljis and Tughlaqs. These are most important what do you call personalities here. So of course you have to know Slave Khalji, Tughlaq, Sayyid Lodi, but if you want to skip anything, and you should not skip Khaljis and Tughlaqs. So Delhi Sultanate mein these are really important, especially Feroz Shah Tughlaq. Of course, Muhammad bin Tughlaq is also important, but questions are being asked from Feroz Shah Tughlaq. So just a note of caution there. Then contemporaries and chronologies. This is really important. There was a question, if I'm not wrong, which was about Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and who is in the south at that point of time. So there are questions like this. So you have to know who is ruling in the north and south at the same time. So see, you don't have to know everything. For example, Rajputs. For example, Paramaras of Malwa. You don't have to know who is the first ruler of Malwa, of Paramara, who is the last ruler, etc. No, just know that Paramaras of Malwa were there roughly from 12th or 13th century, or they start from 11th century, whatever it is. So you have to know all the contemporaries and chronology. And again, I would say this very beginning of entry of Delhi Sultanate, this like this abduction of this Battle of Tarain, 1193 or something. So the events surrounding Battle of Tarain is also really important. So just keep in mind. And then external conquest. See, another very important topic is external conquest. So UPSC, especially these days, has been asking repeated questions on all the external conquests. Mongols, Afghan invasions. It asked ki when did, during Iltutmish did Mongols come, or during Khalid did Mongols come, or and Afghan invasions. Okay, for example, Ahmad Shah Durrani. So the questions were on him also. So the external conquests are really important, both with respect to ancient India and medieval India. Then political administration. So you have these terms, tiny little terms, who is a Mahattara, who is Pattakila, and Mir Bakshi, Amil, and you have to know Sarkar Subha Pargana. So someone was asking on note making. I just quickly want to show them ki this is how you make notes for to remember all of these. Okay, so during Satvahanas there is uh, Aharas, Vishayas, Gramas. Then during Guptas is Bhukti, Vishaya, Viti, Grama. Okay, then you have head of Bhukti is Uparika here. And during Pratyaharas, you have Mandala and Vishya here. Again, cramming this up, mugging this up, by hearting this is a little hard, but if you, constantly see this and, repeat it once or twice, just before the exam, if you have a look at it, you'll forget. You'll definitely forget, but in the exam, you won't forget if you just have a look at it before the exam. Then you have Rashtra's mein. Rashtra is the highest here. Bhukti is the lowest here. So remember, Bhukti is the highest during in Pratyaharas, right? Like Bhukti is a kind of a state in a country here, and in Rashtras it is simply a district. Rashtrakutas. Rashtra is the highest in Rashtrakutas. So there are these small things. Cholas, Mandalam, Svalnadu, Nadu village, Vijayanagara, Mandalam, Nadu, Sthala, Grama, etc. Okay. Yeah, Mughals, you have Subha Sarkar, Parganas. I think this was a direct question. Delhi Sultanate, you have Iktas, Shiks, Paraganas, Gramas. So even if you'd know ki Paraganas is like, you know, let's say zones, mandals, so you could have still done it, and you should obviously know ki Subhas was the highest. Um, I mean, a state level in administrative unit with respect to Mughal Empire. So this is one of the innovative ways which I've used. So you could take a feather from it. And then you have here, yeah, in political administration, you have to know sometimes there are questions, conceptual questions on Jagirdars versus Zamindars, like what is the difference, etc. But you have to know these, small terms wherever you find in NCRTs, just make sure you note them at one place. Then Bhakti moment really important. I'll probably show you how things work here, but you have to know which saint existed when with the contemporaries. Okay, I'll try to show you a small short note by me. So this is Bhakti moments, a small flowchart kind of thing. So 7th to 9th centuries, you had Nayanars with Tevaram and Alvars with Nalaria Divya Prabandham. Okay, and there was only one woman of Alvaru Zandal, etc. You write all of these your schools, Ramanujacharya, because question was on Ramanujacharya, you have to know who's Shankaracharya, and then there is Nimbarka, Madhavacharya, etc. So you have to know. Keep. I used to remember like this SRM. Okay, first Shankaracharya comes, then Madhavacharya, sorry, Ramanujacharya, then Madhavacharya. But you have to know the dates also. Shankaracharya 700s. Okay, Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya thousands. Then Madhavacharya Dvaita 1200s. Okay. Before him, the Telugu guy, Telugu Brahmin, 1100 to 1200, Nimbarka. Right, Dvaita. We are not getting into details of what it is, although I really wanted to get into this. But still, I'm just telling ki this is Nath Panthis. There was a question on Nath Panthis. And all these, for instance, I'll show you the yeah, you should know this vocabulary of Sufism. Okay, what is fana, what is zikr toba, what is insan kamil, sama, etc. And then you have yeah, all the Sufi orders. Probably not much important. Saints of Maharashtra. This has been important area. Namdev, Janeshwar, Tukaram, etc. Again, this might look really okay. You should know something called Beshara. Okay, these people, there was a law called Sharia. Okay, there is still a law called Sharia, and people who do not follow Sharia law are called Beshara. That's why there is this cuss word Besharam, right? So Madaris, Malangs, and Haidars were Besharas. They used to defy Sharia. Um, and this is the small list. I have a big list also, which is typed one. So thousands may you have Ramanuja Al-Hujviri, and 1100 to 1200 you have Basavanna and Nimbarka. These two are contemporaries. Then you have 1200 to 1300 Madhavacharya, Moinuddin Chishti, Badruddin Zakaria. So, all of these people who you have to know. So, I would say you remember Akbar ke contemporaries kaun the. So, Akbar is from, if I'm not wrong, Akbar starts in 1550s, right, to 1605. So, Akbar's rule may you had few people, right? Kabir was pre-Akbar, that I know. Kabir was pre-Akbar. So, who were with Akbar? So just have a look here. And again, I've also noticed that after Humayun, you have a brief period of Sher Shah Suri. That is also an important period for you to focus on. Uh, so after that, what is the other important area? Rajput and contemporaries, I told you, you have to know ki Paramaras of Malwa, Gahadavalas of Kannauj, all these different Rajputs, okay, where do they exist? For instance, uh, Khajuraho temples by Chendelas, right? Chendelas of there's this place. So you have the list of all these Rajputs. If you want, I mean, you can get on internet also. So the list of Rajputs wherever they exist, until which point they existed, etc. And you had like towards Gujarat, you had, I mean, this Wallaby region, you had Solankis, right? Solankis. So you just have to know because there was question on Modera Sun Temple. This was by Solankis. Then architecture. Architecture mainly focus on where aspect. Okay, if there is Buland Darwaza, then focus on where is it? Like, is it in Fatehpur Sikri, the town which Akbar made, and which state, which part? And these days there are questions on Somnath temple, etc. Right? So looted temple, excuse me, looted temples are also in the news. So have a look. If you find a looted temple, just locate it. Focus on the where aspect. And whatever temple is in the news, don't ignore art and culture. Ke, what do you call current affairs? You have to study art and culture's current affairs properly. Then there are some terms like very trivial terms. Aurang, Banyan, Fanam. Fanam is a coin. I forgot what Aurang and Banyan are, but especially terms in Urdu, etc. You just have to know them. Then arts, of course, important persons with respect to arts. Tansen, then someone called Amir Khusro. Make sure you know all about them. Then foreign travelers. There was a question on Jean Baptiste Tavernier. So whoever is the foreign travel, and especially foreign travelers to Vijayanagara. There are a lot of foreign travelers to Vijayanagara. So you have to know which foreign traveler came during which king's time. That is important. Ports and capitals. I don't think I should emphasize more. These are being asked. Then South. Okay. In South, of course, there are less questions, but there are still questions. Cholas, like most important. Like if you forget Cholas and go, you might end up losing some marks. Then Yadavas, recent hot topic. Kakatiyas is also been, is also been focused upon. So have rough idea about southern kingdoms also. Then I'll show you a few questions. This is 2023. The Gahadawalas are in the news. Yadava, 2023, these are all there. So Hoysalas, you have to know. Capital is Dwara Samudram, right? So just know everything about Hoysalas, Gahadawalas. Upar se, like where aspect and important kings, and some kind of important works or important temples, major architecture. Okay, Hoysalas are famous for star-shaped temples, right? Soapstone, so etc. So in medieval India, the idea is to know everything, but only parts of it, not entirety of it. Okay, so you should have the idea of everything, but upar se. So then again, Devaraya won. The question came. Again, Bahadur Shah. I think the question came. Gujarat, Portuguese. I told you. Then you see Iltutmish, Genghis Khan, contemporaries or not, something like that. I'm not reading the question, but I'm telling you these are the important areas, right? Mongol invasion, then Devaraya II, Vasco da Gama. Like you see, you have to know like when did Vasco da Gama, definitely came in 1498. So Devaraya II was before him, right? So or after him, whatever. So etc. You have to know the contemporaries, Tughlaq, Timur, right? You have to know who was contemporary of whom. Again, I told you Mongol invasion, Khalji time, etc. The question was, see, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Mongols, and yeah, Hyderabad state, a little important, not much important. But again, Vijayanagara Empire, you have to know everything. Ahmad Shah Durrani. The question was on Ahmad Shah Durrani, right? So again, I don't think this is the right statement, but yeah. So the question, you could still just eliminate this question because Ahmad Shah Durrani was from Afghanistan, so he cannot possibly be from Rohilkhand. Then Paragana Sarkar Suba, all of this we've discussed. Aurangabani and Mirasidar, right? Arab merchants with respect to Khuladaran, yeah, these are Sayyids. Um, Again, Aragatta, wheel, water wheel. So there are a few terms like that. Just have a look for those terms. Again, Somnath Temple, Looted Temple, right? All the travelers, Thevenot, Bernier, uh, Travenier, all these, diamond traders, etc. So that's it. I mean, these are the important areas. I want to, discuss the Sufi movement, but make sure you know all the women in Bhakti movement. I'm expecting a question here, or even if you don't have, I mean, even if you don't get a question, you can still, quote them in mains, right? So it's a good investment to know about all the women with respect to Bhakti movement properly, and you can use them in your essays also, especially Akka Mahadevi, try to read about her. Yes, that's it. We'll keep the session short and simple. Let's see if you have any doubts, etc. Any doubts?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir, actually, I'm having a small doubt. Sir, can I ask a doubt about ancient history?
yeah, go on.
Sir, in this year prelims, they have asked a question about poets and their literary work. So, among poets, they gave a poet about Somadeva Suri, which is not there in
Yeah,
any of the standard books. And the options are only one, only two, only three. So, sir, if you are asking poets and they are giving options like this, so how to tackle such questions? Because these type
okay,
of poets
okay,
and Somadeva Suri is not there in any of the books.
okay. So I have a theory why that question came. I can be horribly wrong, I'm telling you before itself. I have a theory. See, there will be few questions like that. You should be ready to, face few questions like that and leave them if you want to. But I have a theory because, in Telangana, basically, our group was, just getting delayed, etc. So I thought, to give some kind of edge to the people in Telangana who were already at a disadvantage, they gave this question, and anyone who was preparing for TSPSC would have easily, just told ki, Somadeva Suri, what was that book again? Niti Vakyamrita or Niti Kavyamrita, no? No,
Niti
right?
Vakyam.
Niti Vakyamrita, right. So this was a fairly decent question. Mm, So, yes, but again, if you ask me from others' perspective, that is a question which is called a bouncer. So you shouldn't flinch. You should rather see if you want to take risk or not. If you don't want to take risk, don't take risk. But see, if you're only attempting 50, now I would say if you know all the above three, take risk. Take risk here. So because you have to hit the 75 mark, right? You can't attempt less than 75 and still hope to qualify, right? Although there will be exceptions, but still. So this is again a very mind game tactic. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to get everything right to clear the cutoff, right? Again, I can always tell you that this stupa question was also very easy. See, there are very easy questions. There are very tough questions also. So now this year you read everything about Somadeva Surya and go because it's in one of the options, right? So this now becomes a part of your syllabus. Cool. So yeah, let us just not extend this more. Everyone's clear, right? So with this, at least I'm hoping that you had a good overview about how to tackle questions from medieval India, especially with respect to UPSC, because there's a lot to read. So your first priority should always be Vijayanagara because there are always questions on it, and then glaze through everything else which I've told. Yeah, I'll share you the uh, PDF also. Fine, I'll see you soon. Any